It was just past midnight, a Thursday night, and I had stayed late at work. My office building was empty, the streets around it dark and nearly silent. I opened the Uber app, requested a ride, and got the usual notification, "Your driver is on the way." Within minutes, a black sedan pulled up. The driver, a man in his 40s with a tired but polite expression, nodded when I got in. "Hello," I said, smiling. "Thanks for coming so fast." "No problem," he replied, his voice calm, almost too calm. I was trapped. Every instinct screamed at me to act, but the man's calm, almost hypnotic demeanor froze me in place. He didn't speed up or slow down, he drove with eerie precision. There was no traffic, no one else on the road. Just me, him, and the dark night surrounding us. I tried calling someone, my phone pressed against my ear, but the signal was weak, dropping out every few seconds. I texted my roommate, "I'm in the Uber, something's wrong." No reply. The tension was unbearable. I watched his eyes in the mirror, trying to read any hint of emotion. He seemed completely unreadable. Calm. Detached. Observing. I tried reasoning with him. "If you let me out now, I won't call the police. Please, just let me out." His eyes didn't move from mine. Then he whispered, "You'll understand soon." I told him my address, and he started driving. At first, the ride was normal. We made small talk, weather, work, traffic, but there was something off about him. He was unusually quiet, too smooth in his words, and his eyes kept glancing at me through the rearview mirror. Not in a friendly way, but like he was studying me. The streetlights reflected in the car windows, and I caught a glimpse of his hands, tight grip on the wheel, knuckles white. Everything seemed fine until we hit a stretch of road that was dark, isolated. The kind of street you wouldn't take unless you were lost or being guided. I leaned forward. "I think this isn't the right way. Could we take Main Street instead?" He shook his head. "I know a faster way." "Don't worry." Something in his tone made my stomach knot. I tried to stay calm, telling myself maybe he just knew the area better than I did. But as the ride continued, I noticed the roads became narrower, the streetlights further apart, until it felt like we were driving into the outskirts of the city. I looked at my phone to double-check the route. That's when my heart dropped. He had turned off the GPS. "Hey, where are you going?" I asked, trying to keep my voice steady. "I told you, faster way." "Relax," he said. I opened the door slightly, thinking maybe I could get out at the next stop. But the locks wouldn't budge. My hands trembled as I tried again. You can't keep me here," I said, my voice rising. "I don't want to hurt you," he said softly. "Just trust me." Hours, or what felt like hours, passed. The streets were unrecognizable, unfamiliar. He drove slower now, closer to buildings that looked abandoned, their windows broken or boarded. My pulse raced with every passing second. Then, without warning, he spoke again. "Do you know why I didn't stop?" I don't know," I stammered. "Because you shouldn't be out here alone. Not tonight. They're watching." I froze. "Who's watching?" He didn't answer immediately. He just drove. Then, from the corner of my eye, I saw something, a figure, standing still, just outside a streetlight, watching the car pass. And then another. And another. I realized with horror, it wasn't just him. Someone, or something, was following, surrounding, waiting. "You're lucky I'm not one of them," he said finally. "Most people don't get this ride twice." He explained in chilling detail that there had been a series of attacks in the area, people disappearing at night. The streets weren't safe. The GPS app had been intentionally rerouting me to keep me away from danger. He wasn't the threat, he was the only thing standing between me and them. It didn't make the fear any less real. I had almost died, trapped in a car, with no idea what was outside, but the calm, measured way he drove, refusing to let me out, was the only thing that saved me. Eventually, the roads led back to the city, well-lit streets with open stores. Only then did he pull over. "You're safe," he said. "Get out." I stumbled from the car, my hand shaking uncontrollably, tears running down my face. I never looked back. I called the police later, trying to explain what happened. They found nothing unusual in the city streets, no explanation for the dark roads, no attackers. But I knew what I saw. I knew what followed. I stopped taking Uber rides at night. I never felt truly safe again in a stranger's car. And sometimes, when I see an empty road at night, I think about the way he refused to let me out and how that single act of control may have saved my life. I've used rideshare apps for years, and almost every trip I've taken has been uneventful. You get in, nod to the driver, and stare at your phone until you reach your destination. That's what I expected the night this happened. I had finished a late shift and was exhausted, just wanting to get home and sleep. But this particular night became one I think about every time I step into a stranger's car now. I ordered the ride around 11:42 p.m. The app showed the driver was only 2 minutes away. The profile looked normal, middle-aged man, 4.8-star rating, over 600 completed trips. The picture wasn't threatening, just a tired-looking guy with glasses and a short beard. Nothing out of the ordinary. When the car pulled up, I immediately noticed something strange. The driver was already looking directly at me. Not just looking, staring. Eyes wide, unblinkingly, as if he had been waiting for me to come out of the building. I hesitated before getting in, but I was tired and told myself not to be paranoid. I opened the back door and got inside. I didn't say my name. I didn't say anything. But the instant I closed the door, the driver spoke, in a quiet, steady voice. "Heading home, right? My full name." I froze. My name wasn't uncommon, but the way he said it was too casual, as if he already knew me, not just read my name from the app. Yeah, I said slowly. "Did the app show that?" He didn't answer. He just started driving. Usually, the app gives the address to the driver, so I tried not to overthink it. But something was off, the route we were taking didn't match the one I saw on my phone. We were heading away from the main roads, into darker residential areas and empty lots. I leaned forward. "Hey, I think we're supposed to go the other direction." Silence. He didn't even acknowledge I spoke. I felt an uncomfortable pressure in my chest. I turned my phone screen brighter to check the route again, but the app wasn't tracking anymore. The map was stuck in a loading screen. I checked my signal, perfect connection. So why wasn't it loading? I tried calling someone, anyone, but every call failed immediately. No signal issues. Just blocked. I swallowed hard and tried again, louder. "Sir, I think we're going the wrong way." His hands tightened on the wheel. His jaw flexed. Then he said quietly, too quietly, "It's not safe for you to go home tonight." My heart rate instantly spiked. What does that mean? Still no eye contact. Still driving. "Someone was waiting for you," he said. "They were watching you leave work. I've seen them before. I've been watching them for weeks." I felt a cold tingling travel all the way down my spine. "What are you talking about?" I asked, voice shaky. He exhaled slowly, the first real expression of emotion. "It's not just you. They pick people. They wait until someone is alone and tired. They get in before you notice. You wouldn't have made it to your door." At this point, I didn't know if he was insane or if something worse was happening. I didn't know which option scared me more. The city lights disappeared behind us. We were now driving through empty backroads with tall grass on both sides. No houses. No other cars. No people. I tried the door handle. Locked. "Please, just take me to a police station," I begged. He shook his head. "They watch those." I didn't know what to do. I sat in terrified silence as we drove deeper into nowhere. Finally, after what felt like an hour, the car slowed. We stopped at a brightly lit gas station. There were people inside. Cars fueling. Lights. Civilization. Safety. The driver put the car in park. "Go inside," he said. I stared at him. "What? You'll be safe here. Don't go home tonight. Don't go anywhere alone. Someone has your address. Someone who shouldn't." I scrambled out of the car and ran inside. When I turned back, the car was already gone, taillights vanishing into the darkness. I stayed in that gas station until morning. When I finally got home, I checked the lock on my door. There were fresh scratches around the keyhole. Someone had tried to get in. I reported the driver in the app. I even contacted the company. But here's the part that still keeps me awake sometimes. They told me there was no record of that trip. No driver matched the description. No car matched the license plate. No ride was logged at that time. It was like the entire thing never happened. And I still don't know whether to be grateful or terrified. This story happened when I was visiting my cousin in another city. I didn't know the area well, so I relied on rideshare apps to get around. One night, we were out late, and I decided to head back to where I was staying. My cousin had fallen asleep on the couch at his friend's place, so I ordered a ride on my phone. The driver's name was Carl, according to the app. The profile picture showed a man with a shaved head and round glasses. He arrived in a grey SUV, clean and quiet. The windows looked freshly tinted. I hesitated for a second, but the license plate matched. So I got in. The first thing I noticed was the smell. Not bad, just weird. Like strong disinfectant. Like someone had recently tried to clean something thoroughly. Too thoroughly. I buckled in. Carl didn't turn around to greet me. He didn't speak. He just started driving. Normally, silence doesn't bother me during rides, but something about the air in that car felt heavy, not tense exactly, just wrong. I tried to ignore it. After a few minutes, my phone buzzed. A notification from the rideshare app. "How was your previous trip with Carl?" I froze. This was my first time riding with him. Confused, I opened the trip history. There it was. A completed ride from earlier that night. Same car. Same driver. But it wasn't me. The ride had been taken only 20 minutes before I requested mine. The destination listed was a remote industrial area outside the city. I didn't say anything at first. I just watched the back of his head. His shoulders were tense, unnaturally so. His knuckles were white on the wheel. He breathed in slow, deep, shaky exhales, like someone who was coming down from something intense. Finally, I spoke. "Busy night?" He didn't answer. A minute passed. Then he spoke, voice low and hoarse. "You're quieter than the last one." I felt my body lock up. I didn't want to ask. I didn't want the answer. But fear made the words slip out. What do you mean, the last one?" He inhaled through his teeth. "She was sitting where you are." My throat closed. I didn't speak. Couldn't speak. He continued. "She kept trying to talk to me. Asked if I could drop her somewhere else. Said someone was following her. Said she was scared." He paused. But by the end, she wasn't saying anything anymore. My vision blurred. My heartbeat hammered against my ribs. I reached slowly, carefully, for the door handle. Locked. Of course. I forced my voice to stay calm. "I think you should just take me to the nearest police station." "I won't." He cut me off. "No," he said sharply. Then softer, "No. I can't go back there. Not again." His breathing was getting faster now. The car began to speed up. The streets thinned out. Lights disappeared. I realized he wasn't talking to me anymore. He wasn't even in the present. He was reliving something horrific, and I was sitting in the middle of it. My only option was to break the moment, snap him out of it. So I did something I never thought I'd do. I screamed. Not words, just a raw, loud, panicked scream that shook the car interior. His grip loosened. The car swerved. He slammed the brakes. Before he could react, I unlocked the door, threw myself out, and hit the pavement. Pain shot up my leg. I didn't care. I ran. Limping, but running harder than I ever had. I heard him yell something, but I didn't turn back. I stumbled into a 24-hour drugstore. Collapsed on the floor. Employees called the police. They searched for the vehicle. They found it 12 hours later, abandoned, in the same industrial area where the ride history showed the previous passenger had gone. They searched the area. They never found the girl. And Carl was never arrested. His rideshare profile disappeared the same day. Sometimes, when I close my eyes at night, I see the empty seat next to mine in that ride history. I wonder what happened in that grey SUV before I opened that back door. And I wonder if she screamed too.